Hello guys, good evening. How's everybody doing?
Fine, teacher, and you?
Sorry, I'm doing really good. Really good. A bit tired, but I'm actually doing pretty well. Okay, how about the rest? Danny, Tam, Fabri, how are you doing, guys?
Pretty well, teacher, and you?
Pretty good, thank you.
That's
Hi,
awesome.
teacher.
How was your weekend? Did you rest? Did you enjoy your weekend?
Well, I actually had the chance to rest a lot because I didn't have lessons yesterday because I don't know why, but I didn't have class. So yeah, I rest a lot.
You didn't have classes at all?
And no, because I don't know how to say like something related to APSE. So my teachers were part of
Yes.
APSE, so I didn't
There
have class.
probably was a congress. Yes, the same is going to happen in my high school. I think it's next week. So, but it's not ups. I think it's Ande. I don't know. There are many places like that. Those are called sindicatos. There are many of those. So yeah. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna start with the listening. Which just give me a second. Okay, let me go ahead and show you my screen. Oh, by the way, for the listening, I created. Okay, wait. I didn't say anything else. Okay, today or this week, we're gonna be starting with the topic of entertainment. So, we're gonna have a listening that I think I don't know if we have watched this video. We have watched so many videos that I honestly lose track of which ones we have watched and which ones we have not. So, this one, I like it. I think it's animated, which I think it's really cool. And this one talks about why it's so fun to be scared. So, and I brought a very quick listening quiz. It's well, not a quiz, it's more like a practice, but you do have to answer. So let me go ahead and send you the link so you can go ahead and open this on your computers. Okay. Okay, there you go. It's already in the chat here at the meeting. So you should be able to open that. Okay, were you able to open it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna give you a second so you can go over the questions before we start with the video directly. Okay, were you able to read the questions? Okay, while you read the questions, I'm just gonna get a glass of water.
Sorry, teacher.
Yes, tell me.
There's a question that says, what would be the difference from having activated the flight or fight response to excitement? Is this the difference from flight and fight?
No, it's because the video is gonna talk about it, as I said, the why is it so scared to be, well, why is it so fun to be scared? So there is a part where they talk about the flight and fight response, which is something that we experience whenever we or our bodies feel that we're in danger. And then they mention that there is a relationship between this. So they also mention the difference. So they were like, it's similar because of this, but it's also different because of this other reason. Okay. So the fight or flight response is one thing, and excitement is the other. You need to find the difference that is mentioned in the video.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, ready? Okay, let's go. We're gonna watch it 2 or 3 times. It will depend if you can get all the answers in 2. If not, we can watch it 3. 3 will be the maximum amount, okay? So let's get started with it.
Somewhere right now, people are lining up to scare themselves, maybe with a thrill ride or horror movie. In fact, in October of 2015 alone, about 28 million people visited a haunted house in the US. But many consider this behavior perplexing, asking the question, what could possibly be fun about being scared? Fear has a bad rap, but it's not all bad. For starters, fear can actually feel pretty good. When a threat triggers our fight or flight response, our bodies prepare for danger by releasing chemicals that change how our brains and bodies function. This automatic response jumpstarts systems that can aid in survival. They do this by making sure we have enough energy and are protected from feeling pain, while shutting down non-essential systems, like critical thought. Feeling pain-free and energized while not getting caught up in worrisome thoughts that normally occupy our brains, that all sounds great. And it can be, because this response is similar, though not exactly the same, to what we experience in positive high arousal states, like excitement, happiness, and even during sex. The difference lays in the context. If we're in real danger, we're focused on survival, not fun. But when we trigger this high arousal response in a safe place, we can switch over to enjoying the natural high of being scared. It's why people on roller coasters can go from screaming to laughing within moments. Your body is already in a euphoric state. You're just relabeling the experience. And though the threat response is universal, research shows differences between individuals in how the chemicals associated with the threat response work. This explains why some are more prone to thrill-seeking than others. Other normal physical differences explain why some may love the dizziness associated with a loop-the-loop, while loathing the stomach drop sensation of a steep roller coaster. Or why some squeal with delight inside a haunted house, but retreat in terror if taken to an actual cemetery. Fear brings more than just a fun natural high. Doing things that we're afraid of can give us a nice boost of self-esteem. Like any personal challenge, whether it's running a race or finishing a long book, when we make it through to the end, we feel a sense of accomplishment. This is true even if we know we're not really in any danger. Our thinking brains may know the zombies aren't real, but our bodies tell us otherwise. The fear feels real, so when we make it through alive, the satisfaction and sense of accomplishment also feel real. This is a great evolutionary adaptation. Those who had the right balance of bravery and wit to know when to push through the fear and when to retreat were rewarded with survival, new food, and new lands. Finally, fear can bring people together. Emotions can be contagious, and when you see your friend scream and laugh, you feel compelled to do the same. This is because we make sense of what our friends are experiencing by recreating the experience ourselves. In fact, the parts of the brain that are active when our friend screams are active in us when we watch them. This not only intensifies our own emotional experience, but makes us feel closer to those we're with. The feeling of closeness during times of fear is aided by the hormone oxytocin, released during fight or flight. Fear is a powerful emotional experience, and anything that triggers a strong reaction is going to be stored in our memory really well. You don't want to forget what can hurt you. So, if your memory of watching a horror film with your friends is positive and left you with a sense of satisfaction, then you'll want to do it over and over again.
Hey guys, do you need a second time?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's go.
Somewhere right now, people are lining up to scare themselves, maybe with a thrill ride or horror movie. In fact, in October of 2015 alone, about 28 million people visited a haunted house in the US. But many consider this behavior perplexing, asking the question, what could possibly be fun about being scared? Fear has a bad rap, but it's not all bad. For starters, fear can actually feel pretty good. When a threat triggers our fight or flight response, our bodies prepare for danger by releasing chemicals that change how our brains and bodies function. This automatic response jumpstarts systems that can aid in survival. They do this by making sure we have enough energy and are protected from feeling pain, while shutting down non-essential systems, like critical thought. Feeling pain-free and energized while not getting caught up in worrisome thoughts that normally occupy our brains, that all sounds great. And it can be, because this response is similar, though not exactly the same, to what we experience in positive high arousal states, like excitement, happiness, and even during sex. The difference lays in the context. If we're in real danger, we're focused on survival, not fun. But when we trigger this high arousal response in a safe place, we can switch over to enjoying the natural high of being scared. It's why people on roller coasters can go from screaming to laughing within moments. Your body is already in a euphoric state. You're just relabeling the experience. And though the threat response is universal, research shows differences between individuals in how the chemicals associated with the threat response work. This explains why some are more prone to thrill-seeking than others. Other normal physical differences explain why some may love the dizziness associated with a loop-the-loop while loathing the stomach drop sensation of a steep roller coaster, or why some squeal with delight inside a haunted house but retreat in terror if taken to an actual cemetery. Fear brings more than just a fun natural high. Doing things that we're afraid of can give us a nice boost of self-esteem. Like any personal challenge, whether it's running a race or finishing a long book, when we make it through to the end, we feel a sense of accomplishment. This is true even if we know we're not really in any danger. Our thinking brains may know the zombies aren't real, but our bodies tell us otherwise. The fear feels real, so when we make it through alive, the satisfaction and sense of accomplishment also feel real. This is a great evolutionary adaptation. Those who had the right balance of bravery and wit to know when to push through the fear and when to retreat were rewarded with survival, new food, and new lands. Finally, fear can bring people together. Emotions can be contagious, and when you see your friend scream and laugh, you feel compelled to do the same. This is because we make sense of what our friends are experiencing by recreating the experience ourselves. In fact, the parts of the brain that are active when our friend screams are active in us when we watch them. This not only intensifies our own emotional experience, but makes us feel closer to those we're with. The feeling of closeness during times of fear is aided by the hormone oxytocin, released during fight or flight. Fear is a powerful emotional experience, and anything that triggers a strong reaction is going to be stored in our memory really well. You don't want to forget what can hurt you. So, if your memory of watching a horror film with your friends is positive and left you with a sense of satisfaction, then you'll want to do it over and over again.
Guys, do you need to watch it a third time? Or is this one already enough? You need a third time,
Yes, teacher, please.
just to be sure. Okay, let's go.
Somewhere right now, people are lining up to scare themselves, maybe with a thrill ride or horror movie. In fact, in October of 2015 alone, about 28 million people visited a haunted house in the US. But many consider this behavior perplexing, asking the question, what could possibly be fun about being scared? Fear has a bad rap, but it's not all bad. For starters, fear can actually feel pretty good. When a threat triggers our fight or flight response, our bodies prepare for danger by releasing chemicals that change how our brains and bodies function. This automatic response jumpstarts systems that can aid in survival. They do this by making sure we have enough energy and are protected from feeling pain, while shutting down non-essential systems, like critical thought. Feeling pain-free and energized while not getting caught up in worrisome thoughts that normally occupy our brains, that all sounds great. And it can be, because this response is similar, though not exactly the same, to what we experience in positive high arousal states, like excitement, happiness, and even during sex. The difference lays in the context. If we're in real danger, we're focused on survival, not fun. But when we trigger this high arousal response in a safe place, we can switch over to enjoying the natural high of being scared. It's why people on roller coasters can go from screaming to laughing within moments. Your body is already in a euphoric state. You're just relabeling the experience. And though the threat response is universal, research shows differences between individuals in how the chemicals associated with the threat response work. This explains why some are more prone to thrill-seeking than others. Other normal physical differences explain why some may love the dizziness associated with a loop-the-loop while loathing the stomach drop sensation of a steep roller coaster, or why some squeal with delight inside a haunted house but retreat in terror if taken to an actual cemetery. Fear brings more than just a fun natural high. Doing things that we're afraid of can give us a nice boost of self-esteem. Like any personal challenge, whether it's running a race or finishing a long book, when we make it through to the end, we feel a sense of accomplishment. This is true even if we know we're not really in any danger. Our thinking brains may know the zombies aren't real, but our bodies tell us otherwise. The fear feels real, so when we make it through alive, the satisfaction and sense of accomplishment also feel real. This is a great evolutionary adaptation. Those who had the right balance of bravery and wit to know when to push through the fear and when to retreat were rewarded with survival, new food, and new lands. Finally, fear can bring people together. Emotions can be contagious, and when you see your friend scream and laugh, you feel compelled to do the same. This is because we make sense of what our friends are experiencing by recreating the experience ourselves. In fact, the parts of the brain that are active when our friend screams are active in us when we watch them. This not only intensifies our own emotional experience, but makes us feel closer to those we're with. The feeling of closeness during times of fear is aided by the hormone oxytocin, released during fight or flight. Fear is a powerful emotional experience, and anything that triggers a strong reaction is going to be stored in our memory really well. You don't want to forget what can hurt you. So, if your memory of watching a horror film with your friends is positive and left you with a sense of satisfaction, then you'll want to do it over and over again.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some time so you can go ahead and finish with your answers and send it to me. Pauli, are you missing too much?
Oh, sorry, you were waiting for me.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, please, please. I mean, if you're already finished, fine. If you need some time, it's fine. Just let me know. I already got it. Perfect. Okay, guys, right now what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be answering some questions randomly. The questions are related to the topic of entertainment. So let me go ahead and show you my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Awesome.
teacher.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this. We're gonna follow the order of how fast I got the responses because it's gonna be easier. So the first person was Ale. It's gonna be Ale, Tam, Tani, and Fauri. That's the order. So the first question goes for Ale. No, that one doesn't apply. Wait, here we go again. Okay, Ale, have you ever been to a play? If so,
You mean to play like a match of some sport or something like that?
no, like theater. Plays are for
Oh.
theater. Like a obra
Uh, well, no, I haven't. I wish I had, but no, I haven't.
You have never been to a play? Oh, well, I hope you can go to one. That's actually really cool. Okay, Tam, what computer games have you played?
God of War, Istanbul Guys, or something like that. Fortnite, FIFA, and and let me see, Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, I never picture you as a FIFA person. Okay, Tani, here we go.
It's because, like, I love the soccer. Well, I love the sports, so yeah, I like it.
No, that makes sense. That will make a lot of sense. Tani, have you ever used a slot machine?
No, teacher, I haven't.
Do you know what is a slot machine? Just in case, because your voice is very like, huh.
Well, I think it's in Spanish, máquina de casino, o algo que tenga que ver con eso, ¿no?
Yes, the ones that you do that you make something like this, like, and then the numbers or something, it starts like rolling.
No, I haven't.
No, okay, cool. Okay, Faudi, next question. Is gambling legal where you live?
Well, what is like gambling, teacher?
Gambling is the process by which people say, for example, let's say that you go to a horse race and you say, oh, I think horse number 3 is going to win. I'm going to put $100 on it. That is gambling. Did I explain myself?
Yes, like, yes, I understand. Um, I don't know, but because where I live, they don't have a lot of rules. I would say it would be like legal to practice it
Okay.
because there's no one that can be against it.
Yeah, that could be it. Okay, Ale, ready? Let's see which is going to be your question. Ale, have you ever tried water skiing?
No, I haven't, and I don't know if I want to because actually I'm not pretty good at swimming. But
I like your honesty. Thank you. Yeah, no, me too. I'm not good at swimming at all. Okay, Tam, let's see. Wait, no, that one doesn't apply. Okay, Tam, what is the best book you have ever read?
I'm gonna say, well, I don't like read, but let me see. Um, Anna's Frank diary, maybe.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's a good option. Okay, Tani, let's see which is your question. Why do some people gamble? Like, why do you think people gamble?
Teacher, I don't understand the question.
Why do you think some people gamble? O sea, ¿por qué cree que algunas personas apuestan?
Ah, okay. Well, maybe because they see potential in the thing that they gamble.
Okay, that could be. That could be a possibility. And that's actually something I was not expecting, but yeah, it could be. Okay, Faudi, let's see, which is your question? No, that one doesn't apply for you. Fabri, where do you usually read?
Well, I read at school because we have like an activity we do sometimes in the afternoon during English classes. We read a book in English. So what I do is in my free times, I read to like the book I was assigned or I chose it, but this book to have an idea of how to talk about it.
Sorry, me asking, what book are you reading in English? That is very interesting.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay, that's a great book to read. I'm very happy that you're having that moment. Okay, let's see which is a question for Ale. No, this one doesn't apply. Next. Hey, Ale, what do you do for fun?
well, usually I'd say that I don't know. Well, not mention play piano or sing something like that. I'd say that play video games or read. That is something I really like.
Okay, what is your favorite book?
If you ask me right now, I don't know if you know it. It's Dune. I don't know if you've heard of it.
This is probably gonna be the worst question I can ask, but is it the one related to the movie? The one
Ah,
with
yeah.
Chamalet and Zendaya?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I should have asked a question related to the book, but I haven't read the book, so but I have watched the movie, so
You like it?
I did.
Hmm?
I think it was very interesting.
It's a
Is
little
it
bit like,
huh?
yeah. I know I think it's a little bit complicated to
Okay, yeah.
understand sometimes, but yeah, it's fine that
Is
you like it.
have you watched the movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that the movie is related to the book?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Actually, I don't know if you know that this year later, like November, is going to be coming out the second part,
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
part two. Yeah.
Is it just gonna be like a part two and that's it, or are there gonna be more parts?
Well, actually, there's a lot of books, but the
Oh.
first movie only adapted like the first half of the book, of the first book, like the main one. And this is going to be adapting the second part, and I think it's only going to be that two movies.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Hopefully it's gonna like get very popular and people are gonna start like going to watch it so then we can get more movies out of the books. Okay, Tam, let's go for it. Tam, how often do you visit museums? Have you ever visited a museum? Your face says it all, I think.
Yeah, not often, but yeah, I visited.
When was the last time? Do you remember?
No, no, teacher. Honestly, no.
It's okay, don't
Like I
worry.
was a child. Honestly, I don't remember.
I think I actually visited a museum, but not so long ago. I think it was at the end of March. I visited one, two, three, if not four museums. I visited the Gold Museum in Colombia, the Emerald Museum in Colombia, the Oteros Museum, and I think there was another one, but I don't remember. I don't know, I'm probably a little bit nerdy because I do like museums. I usually go to museums. My favorite so far is the British Museum. Is one of the best places in the world to go. Okay, Tani, how often do you go to parties?
Well, teacher, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of go-to parties, so not very often.
Don't worry, I get it. I'm exactly the same. I would prefer to stay at home and watch a good movie and eat something delicious than going to a party. So, okay, let's go. Right now it's Faudi. Let's see what is the question for Faudi. Faudi, how often do you read comic books?
Well, I have just like I think I have just read one, and it was like of the it was like the adventures of the rich duck, or of, I don't know how to say it, the the character of Mickey Mouse, that is a duck.
Oh, Donald.
Donald, yes. He was like the rich, the uncle of Donald. I have just read it, and I think it was when I was 11 years.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Faudi. Okay, let's go for Ale. We're gonna look two more rounds and then we go. Well, no, go. Then we continue with the next thing. Okay, Alim, I think this question is perfect for you because you're so into music. What singer would you most like to meet? If you could choose only one, it could also be a band if you want to go for a band. But if you want to go for a singer, which one would you choose?
Well, for me, actually, it's a lot. If I could go for a band, I'd say, of course, the Beatles. But if you make me choose, I'd say Paul McCartney because I don't know, it's my favorite one, and I love all of his songs. So I'd say Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Okay, that works. Perfect. Yeah, I knew you were going to say Paul McCartney. I knew that the answer was going to be between those two. Okay, Tam, let's go for you. Tam, who are some of the famous, who are some of the famous actors and musicians in your country? Do you know any? I know a singer for what is worth.
Cabo,
Sorry?
Cabo. It's a singer.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And
and
actors? Do you know any famous actors?
actors.
Here, let me ask like.
Me. Mentira. No, teacher. Honestly, I don't know.
It's fine, no worry. Yeah, no, I think it'll be easier to say musicians, but like actors or actresses, that would be tough. Yeah, I don't think I could actually. Musicians, yes, I don't know that one, Cabo, but I do know one, a female singer. Her name is Debbie Noah. I think her music is really nice. I really like her.
Yes, teacher. I like it. Honestly, I like it.
You see, we're in the same team. Okay, Tani, let's go for your question. Who is your favorite female singer?
Teacher. Mm, well, I'm gonna say I don't think that I have a favorite female singer, but I'm gonna say I don't know. Mon Laferte.
Okay. That's a great singer and it's a great choice. Yeah, I probably would have chosen in my case Billie Eilish, but it's because I really love her music. So, okay, Faudi, who is your favorite author?
I would say um Edgar Allan Poe.
Such a great choice. He is, wow, that's the only thing I want to say. His short story, The Telltale Heart, I mean, it lives rent-free in my mind and in my heart. I love it. It's one of the best. Great choice. Thank you, Faudi. Okay, Ale, this is gonna be the last round, guys. Who is your favorite comedian?
Actually, that's a tough one because I don't see a lot of,
Comedy.
a lot of comedy. But I'd say that maybe Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, I actually like him so.
Yeah, he seems like I don't know, like I like his energy as a host. I think he's really cool. Okay, no, wait. Okay, Tam, let's see your question. Okay, Tam, what's your favorite magazine? Do you have a favorite magazine?
No, teacher. Honestly, no.
You should have said Vogue. No, I'm kidding.
Do you have a favorite magazine?
I do, Vogue.
Vogue. No. Honestly, I don't have.
No, I think, I mean, yeah, I think if I had to choose one, probably would say Vogue. But I like everything. Oh, if there was, probably there is, if there was one about food, that one would be mine. That would be my favorite, but I've never seen one. Okay, Tani. Tani, have you ever been to Disneyland?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, how was the experience?
Well, I like it, so for me it was amazing. Was in 2019. I went with my family, so that's one part to be amazing too.
That's really cool. I'm happy that you liked it. And last but not least, Faury. Let's see which is gonna be the question for Faury. No, we have talked a lot about gambling. Let's change it. Oh, this one is very cool. Faury, what are some things you can do without spending a cent?
Meaning also that I can do it, like for example, driving to that place.
Uh-huh.
It also counts like all the fuel of the car.
Yeah, we can take that to make it more open for you. So what are some things that you will be able to do without spending a lot of money or not much money?
Like, well, going to the mountain, or like visiting a place, for example, the columnas basálticas, I think, a place to visit.
Where is that? Sorry.
Well, it's I don't know where it was. I don't remember, but it was a very incredible place inside I don't know how to say a represa.
Wait. No, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't remember how to say represa. But let me look for it. But continue.
Well, it was inside of it, and you had to walk a lot to find that place. And these are, for example, incredible adventures. You can do it just to enjoy the moment without spending a lot of money.
Oh, that is very Farid, that place is beautiful. I'm sorry, it's because I was looking for it. I didn't know it. So I was looking for it. That place is really nice. Let me show you guys.
Buddy, what is the name? Sorry.
Columnas basálticas.
Okay.
And Farid, just in case, represa, it said dam. That is
DAM.
D, not B, but D. D as in Diego.
Yes.
D-A-M.
Okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yeah, I really like it. It's a really nice place. But I don't know if you can see it, guys, but this is the place. Let me see if I can open the picture. This is the one that appeared on Google when I looked for columnas rosárticas. That's the one that you went, Fabri?
Yes, I think.
That one looks really, really nice.
Well,
I'm gonna-
it's close to San Carlos, I think. I remember the trip wasn't that long or
Mhm.
that, but well, you have to up to certain point you have to walk a lot and like cross a river that is filled of rocks, big rocks that you have to walk past them, and then you will find the columnas basálticas.
That's really cool. Okay, and what else besides going to those columnas rosárticas would you recommend someone to do?
Well, also what you can do is staying at home and watching a movie, as you said. without spending a cent will like playing with other people, with your family in a place like I don't know, doing different activities like playing chess or things like this to enjoy. Well, traveling to another country wouldn't be like a thing you could do, but you could also go to a place close to your house and have lunch there, or yes, like things like this.
Okay, those are great options. And yeah, sometimes you don't have to go very far or spend a lot of money. Sometimes we or people in general, they don't do activities. Because I mean, I love staying at home, don't get me wrong, but I feel like every now and then it's also nice to go out and do something different. But sometimes we don't, because we're like, no, I'm gonna spend a lot of money and I shouldn't spend that much money, or I'm saving or something. And as you said, there are many things we can do that would actually require a lot of money. Okay. Okay, guys, real quick. Now what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be talking about we're not talking, well, yeah, no way it's talking about. What you're gonna be doing is you're going to be individually, I'm going to share my screen and you're going to be assigned a topic related to entertainment. The idea is that you can do we're gonna have an impromptu speech, so all of you will do it today. And the idea is that you speak non-stop for on that topic for 5 minutes. Okay, that's the idea. Questions, comments, volunteers. I love that you love volunteering. Nope. Okay, then let me go ahead and share my screen so we can start with it. Wait. Wait, okay, now I'm gonna be able to see my screen. Okay. Oh, I activated by mistake. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna. No, wait. Wait, let me include that again. Okay, so the order that we're gonna follow is gonna be the opposite of what we have been using. So we have started with Ale, continue with Tam, Tani, and then Farid. So we're gonna start with Farid, Tani, Tam, and then last but not least, Ale. So
Hello,
the
teacher, one question.
yes,
It's because I didn't understand really what we have to do it like impromptu speech.
exactly.
Okay.
So based on the topic that you get on the screen, you have to speak on it for 5 minutes non-stop. Okay, Faudi, you're the first one. So the topic that you see on the screen is the one that you have to use. Right now, I have not rolled it yet. Okay, now you should be able to see it. So let's go ahead. Okay, Faudi, TV programs. Ready?
Well, I have time to get prepared or just jump to it.
Well, I can give you 1 minute. 1 minute to prepare, okay?
Okay.
Okay, go for it. Time is already there. You can see it. So in a minute, we're gonna start with it. In the meantime, we have time for commercials. Have you guys seen the new? No, I'm kidding. While Faudi finishes, guys, did you realize that we're in week 7? We only have this and next week, and it's over. I will
Teacher,
never ever see you
sorry.
again. Huh?
Teacher. And that is the last level.
This is the last, as far as I know, yes, this is the last level.
Okay.
So after, oh, time's up. Okay, Faudi, ready?
I'm ready, teacher.
Okay, let me just set the timer. 5 minutes. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Okay, well, it's interesting how TV programs have evolved throughout the years. It's also interesting how all of them, depending on our likes, they caught our attention in a specific moment. So we tend to like a wide variety of them, but also depending, as I said, on our likes. Sometimes we like, for example, sci-fi programs, thriller programs that are related to thriller scripts or plots. Also, we like comedies, which is an area that is very well developed. I think all them have good content to offer because the people who are inside it who work to make all these programs tend to study a lot and get prepared to make their best to make us entertain a lot. And this is the main meaning of TV programs, to entertain us. And it can make us have a different think or imagine different ways of living, so we can impact the way we behave or think when we are watching it. We can, for example, forget a lot of things we had to do just because it is so interesting, that we get into the characters, the script of the program we are offered, and we imagine it as if we were also there, so we enjoy it a lot. When we do it, most of the time we watch them when we are on our free times, so it's something that you do it just for fun or to entertain. We do it because we like to enjoy it and have fun, a moment of fun, relieve stress, and also spend time with other people. But because most of the time it can also make us be together with others, and all the content the media has offered us, and TV has been evolving, as I said. It went, for example, from black and white to going to 4K resolution, and offering a lot of incredible scripts and also content that we feel very attracted, and we know that it will be for good, that it's also has a message to give to us. So we tend to enjoy it because it's also something that can impact the way we think. Sometimes it's very hard, if we analyze it, to imagine to have that vision of the directors who try to do all this stuff that is behind inside it, all the work. So they all do their best effort. They try to make it so easier to making it easier to understand, because all the time what they want to do is just to entertain us and make us our lives in a way happier and easier, and entertain us. Sometimes when we feel bad, it also can boost our mood and make us feel better. We can do it as a way to also to go to sleep. For example, TV programs can help us, for example, like get more relaxed during nights, and also go more relaxed to bed. And we can also do it when we don't know what to do. What we can do is just jump to that incredible program we want to watch. It's a great way to rest, to enjoy the time, and also to look for another ways of living that are being offered, and we all see the dialogue that is very interesting.
Thank you, Faudi. That was really good. And I like that you kept on talking like it was something normal. Like you could have continued spoken for more than 10 minutes. That was really good. Okay, now we're gonna go with Tani. Okay, Tani, let's see which is gonna be your topic. And you're going to have 1 minute to talk on it. Table games. Okay, Tani, starting now, you have 1 minute to talk on it, to prepare, and then 5 minutes to talk on it.
Teacher, I can hear you.
Thank you, Tam. I was muted. Tani, time's up. You ready? Okay, Tani, let's go. I already set the timer. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Well, table games. Honestly, in my case, it's not my favorite thing. And it's something that, well, in general, I think that the table games is not for all people.
Okay.
Like sports, I am like more sport person than table games. But well, it's something that I think nowadays is have, well, yes, have more impact. I mean, I think that the people have more opportunity to practice, or for example in tournaments. And for example in my high school, this year is the students have like more well, they like it and play more table games at so the high school do a chess tournament to people that like it. That I think it's important because it usually just take the opinion to people like sports and instruments and that things, but I think that table games it's important to well have a lot of I think have has a lot of table games and some well for example I don't know some table games that are more for entertainment, for have fun or play with your friends, and other and table games that are, I think are more serious and more is well that is that are for strategy estrategia. I don't sorry I okay and well you also exist a lot of table games when you can play it alone or with other people, and table games that are more long and others that are more short. And well I also table games depends or exists depends of your of that well that things that you like it. For example, if you like animals or something like that, or if you like music, or if you like well yeah I don't know anything that you like it. I think nowadays exists that or people create that type of table game to be more entertained to people and not just to be boring to so to that people see it attractive. Well also I
That's it.
think time.
Thumbs up.
Okay,
Yours.
teacher,
Yes.
honestly
Tell me.
I think it's worst topic that I could choose. I don't know because I think that well sorry for that. I don't know. I think I need to know more about table games, but I don't know anything honestly. But I promise that now I'm gonna study and know more about table games because for that cases is necessary.
Yeah, no, I mean it's okay, don't worry, it's fine. That's the idea of the impromptu speech. In this case, it is or it was done around the topic of entertainment. But yeah, I noticed that it was gonna be a topic that was not gonna be very easy for you. I think you did a good job, but still, I could notice that it was not your game by the way you were speaking. Tam, okay, here we go with Tam. Let's see which is gonna be the topic for Tam. That's a very easy one. Okay, Tam, starting now, you have 1 minute to prepare and then 5 minutes to speak non-stop. Okay, time's up, Tam. Here we go.
Well, I fear, well, I think movies are one of the best ways to entertain us because you really can find a lot of types, a lot of things, a lot of everything depends that the thing that you want to see. Some types types of movies can you find are scary movies, funny movies, movies for like childs, maybe. What else? Sad movies, adventure movies, adventure movies and action movies. Basically, I think that's like the main types. In my case, I love scary movies, but I'm a scared person, so that's a little bit difficult. Also, I like fantasy movies. Let me see. I like well, actually, currently I don't remember like a name of fantasy movie, but I like this type. Currently, we can see movies in a lot of platforms that currently exist, so that helps a lot for find the movie or the type of movie that we want to see. In the platforms, well, the platforms are like Disney Plus, HBO, Netflix, that I don't think it's the most famous. What else? Star Plus. Star. Well, and you can also see movies on YouTube, but honestly, I don't like it. And obviously in the cinema. I like to go to the cinema. I think it's like it's something different. It's a different experiences. But I prefer see movies in my house because for me it's more comfortable and I can prepare something to eat and see the movie that I want basically with the people, and it's free. So I prefer that. My favorite platform to see movies, I think it could be Disney because I love Disney movies. So yeah. And my favorite Disney movie is honestly I don't know well, currently I don't know how to say in English, but my favorite movie in Disney movie is Las locuras del emperador. Honest, well, I don't know how to say in English. Some maybe some benefits of seeing movies could be you can learn, honestly, depending on the movie, you can learn things, important things. It's obviously for entertainment. What else? When you see a movie, maybe you could have a space to share with a family or a friend. So it could be beautiful and good. And honestly, I love Tim Burton's movies. I really love Tim Burton. Well, yeah.
Okay, I think Tim Burton is a great director. And incredibly creative. Okay, super quick. The movie Las Locuras del Emperador, in English you call it The Emperor's Groove. The Emperor's New Groove. I think that's the way that you call it.
Okay.
Let me write it here in the chat so you can actually have it. I don't think you're gonna need it, but you never know. So it's Emperor's New Groove. There you go. Okay, Ale, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see which is the topic for Ale. I mean, I think that you're doing some sort of witchcraft or something.
Maybe.
That would just be very easy for you, like too easy, I would say.
Yeah, like before it asked me which was a singer that I'd like to know, and then this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, but to me, you're making some sort of witchcraft or something. Okay, Ale, still, even though you don't need it, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to prepare, starting now, on what you're going to say, and then in 1 minute, you can start. Okay, Ale, time's up. Let me set the timer to 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. You can go.
Okay. Well, I like to start talking about, for example, of how much the music is important for me, like daily. because I could talk about, for example, a band in specific, and maybe I will. But to begin with, I want to tell you that for me, music is more than just entertainment. For me, music is more like a philosophy, like a way of living every day. Because every day, one of the first things I do when I wake up is listen to music, and one of the last things I do when I'm going to sleep is listen to music. So I think that maybe that's the reason of why I think music is something that is very close to me. For example, each time I'm traveling, I really like to listen to music. Actually, during the travel, when I'm in the car, I'm always listening to music. And even when I get to the place, I still listen to music because I think that music makes life more interesting. I always like to think that music for me is like the soundtrack of my life because, it's something that I give a lot of time and that I spend a lot of time on it. And I think that it's more like part of my life. Like if my life was a movie, I'd say that music is my soundtrack, of course. So yeah, as you may know, and I've said a lot of times before, I really like music. And as you may know, I play piano and I sing. And well, actually, I'm going to tell you because today happened something very cool to me that I really like related to music. I was coming to my home from high school, and a neighbor, well, it's maybe a woman from, I don't know, 30 years old with her daughter, a little child. And she stopped to me and told me, "Are you the one that plays piano and sing?" Because I actually practice a lot and probably hear me. They listen to me. So I said, "Yeah." And she told me, "Well, you actually did pretty good. I actually like it. We hear it every night." And I said, "I don't bother you." And she said, "No, of course you don't. Keep doing it." And I was like really happy because it was like someone is recognizing it. I don't know. It was pretty like fulfilling. I don't know. Well, to keep going, maybe I could talk about the fact that I really like music from Argentina. I don't know if you know artists from there. Not like, for example, rock. I don't know if you know, for example, Andres Calamaro, Los Abuelos de la Nada. Maybe I could talk about, for example, Soda Stereo, that you may know them. I don't know. I really like the music from that country. I think it's pretty interesting the fact that they are one of the countries that really started to bring new sounds to the continent. And I don't know, for me, it's pretty interesting. I could talk about the fact that, well, I don't know if I've said it before, but the reason that I like music so much is because it's something that is in my family. Almost everyone in my family has something to do with music. For example, my mother used to sing, and I don't know how to say it in English, estudiantina in the liceo, and she also played piano. So, well, I have a little bit from there. Also, my grandfather used to play guitar, and I don't know, I think it's on the blood. I think it's on the bloodline. So I think maybe that's the reason I really like music that much. And well, I don't know if I told you before, I was going to search members for a band, and actually we're doing it. I have a drummer and a guitarist. Now I'm, searching out for a someone who plays the bass. And I think it's pretty interesting to do these kind of things. And I think it's gonna be interesting to, really make the band. I'm actually expecting a lot from it. I think it's gonna be fun. I don't know. I hope so. What else can I talk about? Let me think. Maybe I could talk about my favorite experiences with music. I told you before that once I went to Mexico, I think. And well, when I was there, actually, there was like a theater in that place, and they were making like a little bit like competence between people with different kind of talents, but most of the people were there because they knew how to sing. And of course, well, I was a little child. I was in second grade actually. So when I went there, I was interested in doing it, on singing, but I was a little bit scared. So at the end, I did it. And I don't have an idea of how, in a hotel in the middle of Cancun, I won. And I think the prize was literally a bottle of champagne. I think we still have it here in the house. I think they didn't drink it at the end. So, yeah. What else can we talk about? Mm, yeah.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Okay, guys, with that, we can actually wrap up the impromptu speech for today. We hadn't actually done it in quite a while. So that's why I thought it was like, it's entertainment. It's something that we have talked about a lot, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Unless we talk about table games, right, Tani? Okay, so now we're gonna move into the speeches, which I know is the most awaited moment probably of this entire course. Okay, so today we're gonna have Tam and we're gonna have Fabri, if I'm not wrong. So we're gonna start with Tam, and then we're gonna, because Tam asked for it to be the first one, and then we're gonna continue with Fabri. Okay, guys, by now, well, no, did you prepare any visual aids?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
I did.
sorry, Fabri, you as well. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Okay, in that case, whenever you feel ready, you can go ahead and start. I already enabled the ability for you to actually, or the feature for you to share your screen. So when Tam, whenever you're ready, you can start. The floor is yours.
Mm. Okay. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round. Tonight, we celebrate the magic of entertainment. A world where dreams come to life and louder echoes rotate the always of our imagination. Tonight, I stand before you as your humble entertainer, ready to take you on a journey filled with joy, laughter, and a few fascinating fun facts along the way. But audience, keep calm. First, I have a question for you. What kind of entertainment do you like? Come on, don't be shy.
Okay, I'm gonna go first then. I like entertainment in many different ways. I like sports, I like movies, I like music, I like table games. I love circus. I love watching the gymnastics when like the games, the Olympians. Um, what else? Well, those are the ones that I can think of at the moment.
So,
Well,
do
sorry.
do you don't have a favorite, like a favorite?
Probably it would be between movies and table games.
Okay, that's a good option. What about the authors?
Well, in my case, I like a lot circus, like the teacher, um, movies, the sports, um, I don't know, grad, and yes, basically that. Listen to music also.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I like teacher said, I really like a lot of different types of entertainment. If I had to choose one, I'd say definitely music, but I also like movies and sports.
I am very interested on videos I can watch on the internet. I also like to watch sports, and basically also I like to see other people laughing, which is something I feel very entertained with, I think.
Well, I see that you have a good faces. But now, let's dive headfirst into the realm of social networks. Social networks, the digital landscape where the virtual world meets the real world, and where, obviously, member reigns supreme. Did you know that the most retweeted tweet of all time is none other from the famous Ellen selfie from the 2014 Oscars? Did you know that?
No.
Boy, I did know. I had heard of it.
Okay, well, it featured Hollywood's finest, including obviously my best friends Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, and even the only and the one and only Meryl Streep. I mean, talk about an epic selfie. But audience, let's talk about you. What is your favorite social network?
Well, in my case, I think my favorite social network is Instagram, because I can do a lot of things there.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. My favorite probably would be Instagram.
Well, I'd say that probably my favorite one is Twitter.
Well, I don't know if it counts like one, but I do like a lot YouTube. I like it.
Yeah, it counts. Well, perfect. Now, speaking of epic moments, let's turn our attention to the silver screen, where movies have the power to transport us for of galaxies, ancient civilizations, and even magical lands filled with talking animals. Did you know that the highest grossing movie franchise of all time is none other than the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Of course, right? With its spectacular set of superheroes, it has conquered tickets offices worldwide, proving that we all love a good dose of adventure. My friends, do you like Marvel?
I don't like Marvel. I love Marvel. I'm obsessed with Marvel.
That's amazing. And who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, well, it's between two. I have two. They are like in a fight to see which one is my favorite. But they are Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch, which now is known as Wanda.
Yeah, I love it too.
Well, in my case, I really like it a lot, and I am looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania to be released or launched on Disney Plus. And my favorite character, I think, is Captain America.
Well, for me, I do like Marvel. I've been a little bit, disconnected since Endgame. But if I had to choose one, I'd say that my favorite one is Spider-Man.
Well, in my case, yes, I like it. I'm not the biggest fan, but I like it, and I think that my favorite character is Scarlet Witcher.
Okay. Well, thank you for your answers. But, sorry, but let's not forget about TV shows. Those addictive, binge-worthy delights that keep us glued to our screens for hours on end. Fun fact, I don't know if you know, but the longest running script primetime television series in the United States is no one other than The Simpsons. Can you believe it? For over 3 decades, Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie have brought us endless loud, countless catchphrases and a strange ability to predict real-world events. I mean, who needs a crystal ball when you have a Springfield? Well, my dear audience, before continuing, I want to ask you, do you like The Simpsons? And what is your favorite character?
Well, in my case, yes, I like it. My favorite character is because I don't know, I have an obsession with him. I don't know why, but is Milhouse.
Yeah, that's cute. That's a little bit cute.
Well, I do like it. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan, and I'd say that my favorite character must be Lisa.
In my case, I would say I do like them. I don't watch them that much anymore. I used to watch them more when I was in high school. But my favorite character, oh gosh, that's such a difficult question because I like them all. Well, most of them. But I would say if I had to choose, it would be either March or Homer.
Well, you won't believe me when I tell you that I have never watched The Simpsons, as I wasn't allowed to watch them when I was a child. I grew up with the idea that it was bad, so I have never watched it.
Oh my god, I can't believe. Well, thanks. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the power of storytelling. Through a story, tales have been woven to captivate audience and ignite our imaginations. Like the tragic love story of Romeo and Juliet, or the epic adventure of Frodo Baggins in Middle Earth. Stories have the power to touch our hearts and change our lives. And let's not forget the nameless heroes behind the scenes, the writers, the directors, and countless talent individuals who bring this story to life, making us laugh, cry, and everything between, basically. So, do any of you have a favorite director or writer?
I do. I would say my favorite director it's Guillermo del Toro. I think he's just incredibly talented and twisted at the same time. So the way he does things is just really cool. And my favorite writer, it's I don't know if you know him. Boy, I think he's no, I don't think
I know everything. I know everything.
excuse me. No. My favorite writer or author is it's his name is Roald Dahl. He was the one who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or The Witchers, or this one that is very famous now, Matilda, etc. He was the one who wrote all of those. His books in English are a piece of art. The way that he writes is just really beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would say that maybe my favorite director is Christopher Nolan. Maybe you know him because Interstellar or Inception or the trilogy of Batman. And my favorite writer, I say that J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer from Lord of Rings. I really like how he creates stories. So yeah.
Well, in my case, I think it's Tim Burton because I just love all the creations. Well, him creations.
Yeah, I love the crazy things that he create.
Well, I think that I was going to say Christopher Nolan as Ali, but I would also say that I like Zack Snyder. Just because of the DC movies, I like it. I like him a lot.
Well, my dear best friends, entertainment is not just about glitz and glamour of Hollywood. It's about the shared experiences we have with family, with friends, and even strangers. It's the laughter that fills a crowded movie theater when a joke lands perfectly. It's the heated debates over the fate of our favorite characters. It's the goosebumps, that crawl up our arms when we heard the opening notes of our beloved TV shows theme songs. And finally, it's the point that we find when we discuss about our favorite books or favorite movies and TV shows. So let me see. Fauri, my best friend, what is the feeling that you like to feel? No, sorry. What is the feeling you like to feel the most in a movie? You
Well,
look like an emotional person, finally.
I would say I feel like if I don't know, like you referred to if I was the like a main character in the movie or like this.
Sorry?
Like if I was present in the movie like the main character or what I feel when I am watching it.
Yeah. What do you feel? And I mean, what is the feeling you like to feel the most in a movie? I mean, happiness and other emotions.
Well, I think I would say I feel that I want to wait for the next thing to happen. So I am like expecting the best from the winner because I am always in the band of the good the good person, like in a way saying it. I like a lot to see, for example, that's a person who always tends to be the the good person or character, I expect them to win, and this is the thing I feel the most interested to make them like end up in a happy place.
Okay, and what about the authors?
Well, I'd say that for me, it's complicated to find a movie that really makes me that excited, but I'd say that like the adrenaline on, a well-built, for example, fight scene or something like that. I really like that.
Okay, yeah.
In my case, I would say the favorite feeling is whenever you're watching a plot twist movies. It's like one of these movies that, like you're going one direction and all of a sudden it changes and you're like, what? What just happened? Like that feeling of surprise is just, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Because for example, when Ale mentioned Christopher Nolan, there is this movie from Christopher Nolan that I mean, it's forever one of my favorites, and probably I'm gonna have its CD on my grave when I die, which is Inception. Like everything about Inception is just perfection. It's such a great movie. So yes, I would say that one or this one, the Shutter Island. Oof, such a good movie as well. So I love those because they have like these kind of plot twists in a way. Inception not so much, it's because a different story, but Shutter Island for sure has it. So that feeling of surprise to me is just it's the best.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, in my case, it depends. Of course, when it's a scary movie, I would like to feel fear. Well, on when it's a intense movie, adrenaline or uncertainty, but in general, I don't know, that feeling of satisfaction, basically.
Perfect, thank you. Well, in this digital age where we are more connected than ever before, entertainment has the power to bridge the gaps between cultures, languages, and backgrounds. It unites us in louder, fears, and shared moments of fear. Sorry. So let us celebrate the magic of entertainment because currently it's like a universal languages. And well, my dear audience, tonight let let us raise our glasses to the creators, the actors, and all those who work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring us joy. Thank you, and let the show go on. And that's all. That's all, teacher.
Well, thank you, Tam. I really liked it. I like that you created this cool character that is not usually the Tam that we know. To present this, and you were in the role. Great performance. I really liked it. We're gonna give the time to Fardi. So Fardi, whenever you're ready, you can go for it.
Teacher,
Yes.
can I disconnect?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I'm ready, teacher.
Go for it.
So, good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to expose you a very interesting topic. And it's something that has a real and important matter to our daily lives, and is the one that you are seeing on the screen. Why sometimes quitting is the right option. Why it is very important to consider it. Have you ever experienced it that you felt something wasn't working at all and you wanted to just quit and do another thing because you knew it wasn't going at all in a very good line, so you decided to quit and do another thing? And what was it?
Well, in my case, well, in my case, yes, because I felt that I'm not, well, maybe not too good. For example, I don't know, when well, before I was in a dance company and that happened to me. So finally I leave the company, but I don't know, I feel that, well, that maybe I'm not too good or something like that, or that thing, and it's not for me. So I need to leave it.
Okay, interesting story. Another one who wants to participate?
I want to participate, but could you repeat the question to me, please?
Okay, an experience in which you just decided to quit because it wasn't functioning a lot at all, and you wanted to just look for other solutions.
Well, right now, the only thing that comes to my mind was one friendship where I felt that things wasn't working out. So I thought that the best thing that I could do was to, end our friendship and to, separate our ways. I think that's the only thing that comes to my mind right now.
I think the one that I could talk about is, it was last year actually. I was working in two different places, and I was also finishing my master's. So since I was finishing, I had a lot of research to do, because usually in a master's you have to write like a scientific article or a thesis. And I was working on that, taking classes, and also working in two different places that were related to teaching. So in a few words, I was dying. I had so much stress and so many things to do. So I actually decided, in my mind, I was like, I have three things. I have to remove one from the page. And the one that I thought, it was like, okay, this place I need it because it's the one that is letting me pay my rent. This one is the master's and I want to finish it. So this one is the one that I don't want to leave, but it's the one that I have to leave. And it broke my heart to leave, but it was the best decision that I could have made, because again, I gained some extra time that I needed to focus on other things like my master's and the other place I was working. So it was a difficult decision, but definitely a worthwhile decision.
Well, it's interesting how you remarked it was heartbreaking, as it sometimes quitting can be very difficult for us, and sometimes it's not surprising that many people may relate it as failure or that they are weak, but it is important, and I am going to explain why. Firstly, because in fact, quitting is a very important tool when it comes to our daily decision-making process. Um, it's a process all animals, including humans, have to practice to abandon those ineffective actions or situations in our lives. For example, those that are making us struggle a lot. as you said, also those that are not helping us achieve our goals or main interests, because it is not the fact that it's difficult, but because it's not making us advance to the next step. But at the same time, it's important to remark something. Quitting is not a very effective solution every time, because when something is not functioning in the short term and you're feeling a bit of pain, here's where you have to analyze if you take the decision of quitting, it would be more of giving up because a little pain you're suffering. So it's important to consider if it's the appropriate decision. To explain it with an example, there we have, for example, Simone Biles. I don't know if you know her. She is a gymnast. In fact, she is the best gymnast in the world, in our today's world. She has won many competitions in her life. She has been the best place in many of them. But recently, I don't know if you saw the Olympic Games of Tokyo, but she just decided to quit during her performance. And it's because she explained she was undergoing some mental health problems. Even some days before the competition, the main one, she said she didn't want to do it because she wasn't feeling she wanted to do it, or she had the ability to do it. So we can totally excuse her decision, because if it's something that can affect people's lives in many different ways, or even compromise in a single but important thing, in a biological sense, I would say considering quitting as the solution would be the right path to take. For example, she didn't quit because if simply she had continued, it would have made things more complicated. And it is related to the fact that both human and animal behavior have been molded to help the individual obtain a favorable result or outcome. Probably all of us know all this information, that we go to what works for us, but sometimes we're just staying in what is affecting us because we want to give it a try. But if we try it over and over and we don't see a solution, here's the best way you should consider quitting. But the problem is that, for example, unlike humans, animals do quit, and they do it many times, but it seems to be beneficial to them. And quitting is for them like a thing or a matter they need to survive, and they don't tend to be addicted to it. They do it because, for example, a honeybee, in fact, just female or yes, that the female honeybees are the ones who sting the predator. So if they analyze a situation, for example, a predator is very close to the place where she lives, and all the group that lives with her, the Heber, she would consider stinging that predator if it would compromise the life of all her family. But if not, she would just consider quitting the decision of stinging that predator, because she knows that if she does that, she would attract that predator's attention, making it affect the herb. And it's kind of a thing. She decides to quit, not because the fact that she dies when she stings the predator, but because she considers that it's not the correct path to take. On the contrary, what humans tend to do is sometimes resisting the impulse to quit. And sometimes it's not necessarily brave or noble. It's, in fact, nonsensical. But surprisingly, we still continue to be the only creatures who, when quit, just get overwhelmed, very frustrated by the decision we took sometimes. Meaning we flagellate a lot because, again, we consider quitting as if we had failed in all ways and we are weak. We didn't look for the best solution and we didn't remain there to overcome the situation. But it doesn't have any escape or exit. So you should consider and you should tell your mind it wasn't the best decision if you had remained there. It wouldn't be. So it's the best decision sometimes to quit. Indeed, it's not a concept of weakness. In fact, it's just a matter of not knowing when and why we do it. For example, because actually winners do quit and they do it every day with the actions that they consider doesn't have another path. So they try to quit, and even because they know that even if they try it over and over, they won't escape from it. We all know important people like, for example, Bill Gates, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, and also Jeff Bezos. And because of all the contributions they have brought to our today's society, and one important thing they tend to do is quitting in their everyday lives. In other words, they know that if they had reached the deadline of a stage in their lives or enterprises, they just escape from it and continue to the next resolution or project, seeking the one who will lead them to succeed. And that's why they have succeeded, because they quit and took another path, while they still kept focused and motivated. And this is another important thing. We tend to lose our motivation when we remain in the place, in the deepest or the lowest moment, because we just don't want to look for another solution. We're waiting for a sign to make us rise from it, but sometimes we have to work to make it possible. In the same way, people also consider quitting as something that may delay their goal to the goal, or their arrival to the goal, sorry. But surprisingly, it will be the fastest path than any other one. Because sometimes when people don't quit and they just, for example, things quicker and easier, what they end up doing is to have a terrible scenario, and they have to do it twice all the work they did before. So sometimes quitting is the best decision to go for a safe road and go faster, and it's the unique and fastest way to go or to reach our goals. And because you're in an uncertain process that is called deep, this is the lowest moment of your life, you should know that you are quitting strategically, and not because of short-term pain again, but you consider you'll not be able to withstand the pain. So if you don't know how to overcome it, please don't start. Then, if you want to succeed, work smart. Invest your time and effort in analyzing which things will contribute to the process, and push hard on it. But if it's not bringing positive results in the long term, just look for another solution. Another example to show it is how Jeff Bezos stepped down as the CEO of Amazon in 2021 with the idea to spend more time on other enterprises he created. For example, the space enterprise called Blue Origin he created, and other companies he also founded, but still remained in Amazon. And even better, not being inside the enterprise every day in the company helped him center his abilities to dismiss the noise and identify high worth opportunities. And with it, improve the operational activity of Amazon. So with it, we should ask ourselves, if he remained the CEO of the enterprise, would he have had the same motivation and capability to make his enterprise bigger? Well, it's something quite questionable, right? And all it reaffirms what I have said. He stopped doing one thing, not because he's not capable of being the CEO of Amazon, but because he understood it was the deadline of that stage. And he continued with another one to stay motivated during his professional life. So here the important and final thing is that if you want to succeed at something, or even better, if you want to survive, to continue surviving, don't feel bad if you have to leave things on the road. In fact, it's a normal process, an attitude you must consider if you want to get whatever you want. That was all from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for my presentation.
Thank you, Fari. That was very motivational. Well, very informational with the most. And I like that you were. It was like, I think it was like the perfect one for you because you were very into it. It was like watching you shine on it. Okay, guys. So we're gonna stop here today because I know today has been quite busy. We have done a lot of activities, so we're not gonna continue with the rest of the class today. I'll see you on Thursday with the remaining two presentations, which are Tanis and Alice, and a ton of other activities that we're gonna have, also related to the topic of entertainment. That being said, do you have any questions or concerns? Nope. Okay, well, in that case, you're free to go. Have an amazing night. Take care, and I'll see you in 2 days.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
teacher.
teacher.
Good
Thank you.
Bye,
night.
teacher.
Bye-bye. Take care.